Do you know a single text message could cost you $100,000 when buying a property in Australia? Recently in Queensland, a couple lost $98,500 in just 48 hours after signing the contract. It sounds crazy, but this is the reality of the 2026 market. Right now, we're at a weird crossroad. Fuel prices are rising, interest rates are high, and the news is full of record low consumer confidence. But at the same time, your social media is probably flooded with people telling you this is a one-in-a-decade opportunity to buy. So, which one is it? As someone who works with market data every single day, I want to tell you this clearly. In 2026, you will fall into the 5 categories. You might want to pause your decision to buy. It's not just about buying the wrong property. You could be taking on serious financial risk. Stay with me because the 5th type is the one most people are ignoring right now, and it's the most dangerous. This video isn't here to scare you, it's here to help you do some simple asset stress test. By the end, I will share a formula I created called the cash flow resilient test. It takes just 10 seconds to know if you can actually survive this market. Let's look at the first group, and this is exactly what happened to that couple in Queensland. Buyers who underestimate how serious contracts are. Recently, there was a court case in Queensland that got a lot of attention. A buyer paid their deposit just one day late, and the court ruled that the seller could keep near $100,000. A lot of people felt bad for the couple, especially because the agent replied okay in a message about the delay. But legally, that agent had no authority to give them an extension, so that okay in the text didn't change the strict deadline in the contract one bit. This is the risk. If you don't fully understand how strict and contract-driven in Australian property system is, small mistakes can turn into very real financial consequences. There are also some unconfirmed stories saying they might have had a chance to exit the deal earlier. But honestly, once the legal outcome is there, that detail doesn't really matter anymore. In Australia, if we only focus on price and ignore contract terms, that good deal could turn into a nightmare very fast. The law doesn't care about emotions. It follows the contract. Type 2. Buyers who don't have their own judgment system. A lot of people buy properties like they trade stocks. They follow tips. One day they hear a YouTuber say the East is booming. The next day they read on a forum that the West has big infrastructure coming. The problem is information overloaded. Too much data but no clear framework to filter out the noise. Some buyers think checking recent sale prices is enough. But what really matters is often what you don't see. For example, have you checked future supply in that area? If a suburb has a ton of development approvals on the way, that oversupply will crush the growth of your property. Or infrastructure. Some good news has been talked about for 10 years already. If you don't have verified actual government budgets and timelines, you can easily be misled by outdated marketing. Remember, if everyone on social media is talking about a whole suburb, you're already late to the party. And zoning. You probably heard about NRZ and RGZ. These are not just labels. In the same suburb just across the street, the value logic can be completely different because of zoning. One block might only allow one house, another might allow development. If you don't understand zoning, you might overpay by hundreds of thousands and end up with a property that has the least growth potential on the street. Then the third type, buyers with a single income source. Let's be real, in 2026, the easy growth phase is over. Property is no longer just buy and win. Now cash flow matters more than ever. I worry about buyers who rely on only one income stream. In a high-rate, high-inflation environment, that structure is fragile. Especially if you run a business or freelance. You might feel your income is growing, but from a bank's perspective, your income is uncertain. I've seen real cases, people with strong businesses doing well, then one break in their cash flow and suddenly they can't keep up with repayments. The bank takes back the property. The hardest part is not just losing the asset. It's how it disrupts the entire family. Your daily life changes overnight, your kids' environment changes, then small things like where your pets go become a problem. Therefore, from being a homeowner to looking for a temporary place to stay is a massive blow to your dignity and your future. If your cash flow can't handle a hit, the property won't protect you. It becomes a burden you can't control. The fourth type, buyers obsessed with bottom fishing. Some buyers only want the cheapest deal. The biggest job, the bargain. But cheap usually comes with a reason. Sometimes it's not undervalued. The fundamentals are just weak. You might hold it for 10 years and see no real growth. And no one can perfectly time the bottom. People think they're buying at the lowest point, but market can stay down longer than expected. I have seen buyers who thought they were getting a steal, but the maintenance or the holding cost become a bottomless pit. They got stuck financially with no clear way forward. Then the last type, the low cash reserve buyers. This is the one most people ignore. Let's do a simple math. If you buy an 800K home, a 20% deposit is 160K. But do not ignore the stamp duty and other costs, which will add around 40K. So you are looking at 200K cash just to get your foot in the door. With interest rates at 6.3%, your monthly mortgage is going to be around $6,000. For many families, that is already a massive commitment every single month. I've seen buyers who, after paying deposit and costs, have only a few thousand left in the bank. That's very risky in today's environment. If anything goes wrong, like a job change or family emergency, you have zero breathing room. Also, for investors holding multiple properties, they talk about negative gearing and tax returns, or they think the rent is steady income. But collecting rent is not the same as having cash flow. If you add up interest, land tax, insurance, and maintenance, you will see that in many cases, that income is just helping you lose money a little bit slower. In places like Victoria, where holding costs are spiking, being rich on paper but poor in cash is how most millionaires go broke in a high-interest market. If you can't survive a vacancy, that house isn't an asset, it's a liability in disguise. So after all this, the real question is, should you buy now? My suggestion is simple. Don't listen to prediction first. Look at your own numbers. Now here is the tool I promised, the cash flow resilient test. Do not skip this part, grab your calculator or just use your phone. Take your total cash reserves and divide it by your monthly net expenses. Is the result more than 12 months? To be clear, your cash reserve is only what you have left after the deposit and all buying costs. And your net expenses must include everything, your mortgage, council rates, and your actual daily living costs, minus any rent you collect. If that result is under 12, your financial safety net is just not strong enough to handle even a basic environment shakeup. In that case, no matter how good the property looks, you should pause. So who can still buy in 2026? First, buyers with stable income and strong cash flow. Your leverage is reasonable and you have at least 12 months to repayment buffer. Second, long-term holders. You're not chasing short-term gains. You're ready to hold for 7 to 10 years or more. Over time, the market trends to smooth out volatility. Third, the upgraders. You are buying for lifestyle, not speculation. Selling and buying in the same market cycle naturally balances your risk. Last, portfolio optimizer. This is what many experienced investors are doing right now. Selling weak assets with low land value and high holding pressure and switching into better quality properties in prime locations. In this market, upgrading your portfolio quality is often the smarter long-term move. One last thing, the property market and policies change fast. This video is here to help you build your thinking framework. It's not financial advice. Stop listening to the hype and start looking at your own numbers. If your resilience score is low, your priority is not buying, it is building your buffer. But if your numbers are solid and you are ready to look at properties, do not waste your weekend driving around yet. I have linked my latest video below. It shows you how to sit on your sofa and use Google Maps to screen out 90% of the junk houses before you even think about an inspection. Save your time and save your energy. I'm April. Stay sharp. If this was helpful, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Ta!